Ah, Pokemon, one of my favorite game series. And if you know one thing from my channel, it's that I actually never got to play the games as a kid. Well, unless you're a new viewer, in which case, hi, welcome to the channel. Why though? Well, because it's evil. Or at least that's what my parents thought. Not only that, but I've heard from a lot of other people the same story, that their parents didn't let them play the games or watch the anime. But why? Why did so many of our parents think that this series meant for 10-year-olds could cause demon possession? Well, a few things. Firstly, let's be honest. Most parents don't know jack about the series their kids partake in, especially if it's new. And because of that, it's easier for them to believe absurd claims about them. Secondly, is the era it came out in, right during the satanic panic, where many religious folk became wary of things they watched or played being a gateway for evil. And thirdly, Pokemon was big, and I mean big. As a Gen Zer, I will never be able to comprehend how big of a deal it was in the 90s, making it a prime target. And fourthly, the late 90s were full of these guys, televangelists, people who made money on their networks talking about religion. In actuality though, many did their best to drive engagement up, to bring in as much cash as possible. And what keeps viewers hooked? Telling their audience how everything is evil. Power Rangers? Demonic. SpongeBob? Satanic. Pokemon? Despicable. Harry Potter? Witchcraft. And so on. Honestly, looking back, I don't place all that much blame on my parents. I put the blame on these televangelists, radio show hosts, and the like who took advantage of their audiences to make money. Picture this. Let's say you're a parent in the late 90s who's never heard of a certain franchise. It gets extremely popular extremely quickly, you have kids who want to partake in it, but then you hear from someone you know and trust that this very thing could cause some kind of negative influence. Now, you may think that it's unlikely, but you're too trusting. It's the 90s, and you're not familiar with the internet. And even if it's unlikely, would you really want to take the chances, even if they're very slim? Think about it. The worst thing that could happen if you don't let them play it is that they don't get to play it. On the other hand, the worst thing that can happen if you let them play it is that it's demonic, or whatever that is, and your child goes to hell or something. And again, this was the 90s. People were a lot more religious than they are now, so keep that in mind. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't blame someone who has to work like 40 hours a week to feed their family for not doing their own research on all the so-called evil media. Besides, and as much as I've talked on this channel about my parents, complaining about them not letting me play stuff, they were pretty good parents. The ones I put my full wrath on are again, the televangelists and the like. Also, this is not a slight against religious people in general. The vast majority of them find these guys ridiculous too. In fact, some of my first exposures to Pokemon were from other kids at my own church. I just thought I better mention that real fast. Of course, there's a lot of other things that really didn't help matters. Mostly in the games themselves, evolution being one of them. And there's also the Porygon incident, the whole seizure incident, which, yeah, that really didn't help. We also had Lavender Town, although I'm kind of doubtful that a lot of these televangelists really knew about that, and any of the other lore, which, again, I'm doubtful these guys knew about it, but, it probably had a slight impact. As a kid, I remember a lot of incidents related to Pokemon. Firstly, when I got my first game console, my N64, it came with a lot of games, yada yada yada. It came with a few Pokemon games. I don't remember what they were, but if I had to guess, I would presume the Stadium games and Pokemon Snap. And what did I do with them? I threw them in the trash. And the thing is, I did it myself. My parents actually didn't make me do that. They might have just wanted to give them a goodwill or something, so it's partially my own fault that I wasn't able to play Pokemon. I mean, I could have hidden these games or dug them out of the trash when they weren't looking, but I didn't. And now, there's a few less copies of the N64 titles out there. All because of me. a fact that I still cringe a little at when I think about it to this day. Oh, and also thinking about if my parents did give it to Goodwill, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, let's let some other people get demon possessed, not our kids. So I don't care if other kids get demon possessed. But anyway, when I played the Smash games, I remember not being allowed to play as the Pokemon characters in Smash Bros. Either. At least I still got to play them, thankfully. And the reason I wasn't able to play as them is because my little sister told my mom, who wouldn't have had any idea otherwise, so yeah, thanks for that. I would still play as them though. I would just unplug the audio cable from my TV so she couldn't hear it. Why I didn't mute it, I don't remember why I didn't just mute the TV, why I had to unplug the audio cable, but anyway, I doubt even if she did hear it that she would really be able to understand that I was playing as them, and she never caught me. Or maybe she did and just didn't care. I do know that my dad just didn't give a shit though. Like, he'd see me playing as Pikachu and he just wouldn't care. I think he said something once and then it was like, Pokemon. Like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, my dad didn't really care what I watched as much as my mom. I mean, he occasionally would kind of have a little pushback, but only because to make my mom happy. But anyway, as the years went by, I saw other kids talk about the series. I saw Let's Plays on YouTube, although for some reason, I never seemed to watch more than like the first few episodes of them. I saw various creepypastas, other YouTube videos like Dwitz, and I was exposed, or J-Wits, I guess is how you pronounce it, isn't it? Anyway, and was exposed to the franchise through Smash. I watched the Pokemon anime through some shady websites that probably gave my tablet porn viruses, and overall, I really wanted to play the series. This day would finally come when I got my 3DS, and Gen 1 came out on the eShop. For Christmas of 2016, I got an eShop card. I downloaded it, and had a great time with my parents none the wiser. The next year, at age 14, I finally did something I thought that I would never be able to. I convinced my mother that Pokemon was in fact not evil. She still seemed concerned for me for sure, yet she no longer cared enough to stop me from watching DVDs of the anime that I got from our public library, and yes, we were old school and poor. The next year, my mom died. The worst time of my life to be sure, but this is meant to be a fun YouTube video, so let's move on. In the modern day, Pokemon doesn't quite have the same demonic association it once had. In fact, I've had a hard time finding any kind of backlash against Pokemon for these reasons beforehand that aren't from 20 years ago. I think it's safe to say that these days are mostly over. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and watch my other videos as well. I have a whole playlist of Pokemon videos right here. And be sure to stay tuned for next time, where I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. So, see you then.